have a theory. I have a theory about persistence. It's a common claim that persistence works, generally speaking, that persistence is a good way for you to get what you want. I don't really agree. How many times have you heard of, I mean, maybe you haven't, but I've heard it in films and I've heard it in real life. I can think of one woman in particular who said this. Somebody will say, why are you with that guy? Oh, he just wouldn't leave me alone. He kept asking me out and asking me out. He wore me down. Oh, he wore me down. How romantic is that? He wore me down. I couldn't say no anymore. So in the end I gave in and then we were married. Some women, I don't want to be accused of generalising or something, but I've known some women in the past who just seem to be susceptible to men who will just not leave them alone. Maybe it's an insecurity issue. I don't know what it is. But my point anyway isn't that I'm not talking about those women, because that's everybody has their different ways of choosing partners and things. I just don't think if it comes down to persistence being your only method of achieving something, then maybe it's not really meant for you in the first place. And I'm not just talking about men and women either. I mean, I'm sure there are women who are persistent with men, and I imagine it works the same way there too. But my point is, okay, persistence might work in the sense that you achieve an initial goal, but I don't think anything you achieve through persistence can be ultimately meaningful or worthwhile, because it's got to have something more to it than that in order to exist in the first place. I mean, that particular woman I was talking about just now, who said, oh, I gave in to him, they were divorced years ago now, you know. I'm not saying that if people get divorced that it was never worth it in the first place, because, you know, my marriage was worth it because of my children, if nothing else. You know, that's like the most fabulous, wonderful, delightful thing I have in my life, I've ever had in my life, of my two kids. Maybe my theory is wrong in the sense persistence works, but it's just not worth it. And I think that's why I don't persist, you know. I don't generally chase after things that I want. Not because, you know, because the opposite, of course, is that you sit back and wait for things to happen and they don't. So you have to find a middle ground, I think. It's like these videos in a way. I'm sending out these videos on YouTube, but I'm not pushing them to anyone. I'm not sending them to friends and family. I'm not advertising them or anything, or trying to find ways to make people watch them. I'm doing the middle grounds. I'm doing the work. I'm doing a video, but I'm not pushing it down people's throat. And that's something, you know, that's a philosophy I have with women as well. I don't push it down their throats, you know what I mean? Actually, so that's my theory for today. Persistence is, although it works, I don't think it ultimately achieves anything that you need really in the long term. The problem, of course, is that while you're not being persistent, other men or other people are being persistent and getting the things that you deserve. And the other thing, the more important thing I wanted to talk about today. Now, I'm wondering now, when I said that, the more important thing, did I say it whimsically enough for you to realise that it was going to be something that's really not important, that me stressing it's important was just a kind of a jokey thing? Or did you actually think I was going to talk about something important? Anyway, the thing I want to talk about is the mini tripod that I put my phone on. It's crap. It's a little mini tripod with these legs, these bendy legs that bend into position. Initially, it was brilliant. But what it has is detachable legs. Click in and click out. And after a very little while, they become quite loose. And the legs fall off. Now, okay, wear and tear, that kind of thing might happen. But what I'm wondering is, why has it got detachable legs in the first place? Who's going to be using a tripod and think, oh, for this shot, I only need 2 legs? For what reason has it detachable legs? It makes no sense. Oh, this is a one-legged tripod, a monopod shot here. Oh, it's fallen over. I wonder why that's happened. God. And it's something I have to face every day now. To a point where sometimes I think, oh, I wonder if I can just lean the camera. I should get one of those camera cases where you just sort of fold it out in a little thing and you just lean it like that. But some days I'm just leaning the camera against like a book or something. But because the edge of the camera is very smooth, it just slips over like that. And I know, oh, okay, I'll get the bloody tripod out then. Have I managed to convince you that persistence is not worth it? That persistence doesn't work? Or do I need to go on about it for another 10 minutes? Are you getting where I'm going, yeah? See, I've given up on that thought. That's me, you see. I'm not persistent. I'm always thinking about new ideas, new thoughts, and as a writer as well, and developing ideas, and I pile ideas upon ideas upon ideas upon things. I don't focus long enough on one thing in order to be persistent. Then maybe that's how it works for me. And I have to be, when I switch the camera on the phone off as well, I have to be really careful, because if I push it too much, the thing falls over. Not that it really matters, but you know what? A leg falls off. If I cough loudly, okay. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, because now it won't stand up again, will it? There we go. Oh, a bit of an angle there. Oh, Star Trek. What can I say instead of goodbye today? What about ciao? No, how about, pardon me, farewell.